Jet has always been one of my favorite episodes of Avatar. Even as a kid, I loved the depth it added to the series. How it showed not everyone fighting the Fire Nation was inherently good. But it wasn't until I rewatched it as an adult that I realized the central thesis of the episode. Jet's namesake episode is about leadership, specifically, a leader's relationship with their own fallibility. The episode starts when Sokka points out that the animal traps scattered around the woods are from the Fire Nation, which means there's probably a settlement nearby, which means it's probably not safe to stay there. He also points out that they might want to try going by foot, since flying on Appa keeps giving their location away to Zuko.
Who made you the boss?
I'm not the boss, I'm the leader.
You're the leader? But your voice still cracks.
I'm the oldest, and I'm a warrior, so I'm the leader.
Why do boys always think someone has to be the leader? I bet you wouldn't be so bossy if you kissed a girl.
I've kissed a girl, you just haven't met her.
Who? Gran? I've met Gran.
So they walk for a while, and right after Sokka says a leader needs to trust his instincts, he walks them directly into the Fire Nation camp that they were trying to avoid. Enter Jet and his ragtag gang of rebels to save the day.
They're in the trees!
After dispatching the bad guys and emasculating Sokka in the process, he has his sights set immediately.
Hey.
Hi.
After raiding the Fire Nation camp of explosives and literally sweeping Katara off her feet, he shows them around his treetop hideout, talking about how he's working on liberating a nearby Earth Kingdom town taken over by the Fire Nation, as well as his motivation for starting his group in the first place.
So, you all live here?
That's right. Long shot over there, his town got burned down by the Fire Nation. And we found the Duke trying to steal our food. I don't think he ever really had a home.
What about you?
Fire Nation killed my parents. I was only 8 years old. That day changed me forever.
Sokka and I lost our mother to the Fire Nation.
I'm so sorry, Katara.
This comes back into play later. As he rallies his troops, he establishes a few things to both audiences. The audience, us, and his audience, Sokka, Aang, and Katara. He's charismatic, confident, and in charge. In other words, his voice doesn't crack, and he's probably kissed girls. And he also knows that Katara probably wouldn't mind being one of those girls. Not that that's his only appeal to the group. Aang thinks he's awesome, and even though Sokka has his doubts, he can't help but feel important when Jet asks him to help with a mission the next day. But when that time comes, and Sokka realizes that Jet has recruited him not to help ambush a fleet of Fire Nation soldiers, but instead beat and rob a defenseless old man, Sokka is shown Jet's true colors, and in response he does something that deeply threatens Jet. Sokka questions him, going as far as to physically stop him from kicking the man in the face, and here's where that moment from earlier comes back into play.
Forgotten that the Fire Nation killed your mother? Remember why you fight!
They killed your mother. As to say that by not letting Jet kick this random civilian's teeth in, by questioning Jet's tactics as a leader, Sokka is somehow disrespecting his own mother's memory. This is the first real example of Jet's biggest and most dangerous tool as a leader, manipulation. When Katara told Jet a traumatic event that happened to her and her brother, he recognized that trauma as a source of weakness to be weaponized if Katara or Sokka were to step out of line. He kept this on the tip of his tongue just in case something like this were to happen, and it makes you wonder how often he's reminded Longshot of his village being burned down, or the Duke that Jet's hideout is the only home he's ever had. Sokka refuses to participate in searching the man, and shows clear guilt in even following Jet back to his hideout. When they return, Sokka tells Katara who Jet really is, and Katara wants to hear Jet's side of the story, which Jet is very ready to give.
Sokka, you told them what happened, but you didn't mention that the guy was Fire Nation?
Even if he was Fire Nation, he was a harmless civilian.
He was an assassin, Sokka. See? There's a compartment for poison in the knife. He was sent to eliminate me. You helped save my life, Sokka.
I knew there was an explanation.
This creates a wedge between Sokka and Katara that Jet immediately capitalizes on when Sokka says he wants to leave, by basically telling Katara, "If you leave me, I will die."
I really need your help.
What can we do?
The Fire Nation is planning on burning down our forest. If you both use waterbending to fill the reservoir, we could fight the fires. But if you leave now, they'll destroy the whole valley.
Katara says that Sokka's just jealous that Jet's a better leader than he is, which you can't really blame her for thinking. Jet meets all the criteria Katara established at the beginning of the episode, the same criteria she mocked her brother for failing. He absolutely plays the part of what she's been told a leader looks like more than Sokka does. And most importantly, Sokka was wrong. It was a blunder of Sokka's that Jet saved them from. And it just seems like Jet doesn't make mistakes. Katara and Aang outvote Sokka and they stay another night. But then it becomes clear that the main reason Jet honed in on Katara from the beginning was much more sinister than he had let on. Sokka realized that there is no plan to burn down the forest. The real reason Jet needs a waterbender to fill the reservoir is so that he can blow up a nearby dam with the rated explosives and wipe out the entire occupied town. Sokka makes a genuine plea to Jet's humanity.
There are people living there, Jet. Mothers and fathers and children.
To which Jet dismisses.
We can't win without making some sacrifices.
Jet's well aware that he could do to many children what the Fire Nation has done to him, and shrugs it off with what's almost certainly the same justification the Fire Nation used for his parents' murders. Jet realizes there's no convincing Sokka, so he orders Smellerbee and Pipsqueak to detain him until his plan is complete, who Sokka soon after escapes from by perfectly illustrating why you shouldn't follow someone blindly. After Jet gets Katara and Aang to bend the water out of the ground to fill the reservoir, they discover his real plan. Katara asks him why, and that same card gets played again.
Think about what the Fire Nation did to your mother. We can't let them do that to anyone else ever again.
This isn't the answer.
I want you to understand me, Katara. I thought your brother would understand, but...
Where's Sokka?
Katara.
And this is the moment that disturbed me so much more rewatching this as an adult. Katara is so scared of what Jet may have done to her brother that she starts crying, and Jet tries to console her, tries to make himself the source of comfort for the fear and pain that he has caused. This is disorganized attachment, an attachment style found in abusive relationships and in cults. That's exactly what Jet and his freedom fighters are. They're not Rufio and the Lost Boys or Robin Hood and his merry men. Jet's taken other confused and traumatized orphans of war and given them a sense of stability and purpose through a cult of personality that he's created around himself. And as much as Jet has convinced himself and others of the contrary, they have no interest in liberation or freedom. Their goal isn't justice or even revenge on anyone in specific, but instead, whatever makes Jet feel better.
They don't understand the demands of war. Not like you and I do.
I do understand. I understand that there's nothing you won't do to get what you want.
And for Jet, that means manipulating people into helping him inflict the same devastation that he's faced onto others. Katara having a crush on Jet isn't what made him so dangerous to her. It was the fact that he knows how to turn the emotional turbulence of a traumatic past into something malignant and controllable. And that context makes it all the more satisfying to see her literally break free of his grasp and wash him away from her. Aang and Katara fight off Jet but end up being too late. Longshot detonates the blasting jelly and destroys the dam. But then it's revealed that Sokka warned the townspeople after escaping. At first, the Fire Nation obviously didn't believe him, but the old man Jet mugged vouched for him. This is a detail that I really loved. If Sokka had followed Jet unquestioningly, hadn't stopped that kick, hadn't been so obviously opposed to the way Jet treated the man, he wouldn't have believed Sokka either. He believed Sokka because he recognized, despite Jet's actions, Sokka's humanity.
You traitor!
No, Jet. You became the traitor when you stopped protecting innocent people.
How come you went to the town instead?
Let me guess. Your instincts told you.
Hey, sometimes they're right.
Sokka? You know we're going the wrong way, right?
And sometimes they're wrong.
And that is the perfect demonstration of the safety net that comes with decentralized leadership. No single person should ever hold all the power, because no one, no matter how old, or brave, or smooth, or charismatic, is always right. Sokka ends up being a better leader than Jet not because he looks the part or doesn't make mistakes, but because he recognizes the true power of leadership is found in listening to others as equals and correcting your mistakes when someone tells you that you're going in the wrong direction.